Alright, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Project Resurrection. We are doing a very big push this video. We're going to go ahead and get this bulkhead done, and we're going to get as many blisters as humanly possible filled. And by filled, I mean chop strand. I've gone through, I did a little bit of support underneath the floor here. Went ahead and put the floor down. Well, just kind of set down just so I had some actual working room to do this bulkhead. I also put in this post here to raise the cabin top, because since the post wasn't there, not a whole lot of bulkheads, the hull's squeezing outwards, cabin top's coming down, which was bulging out this back portion here, which meant that once we put the bulkhead on, we'd have a whole bunch of major air gaps behind there, and we don't want that. We want as much contact as we can possibly get. I'm going to lay out the chop strand on here, get it all cut out in panels. That way it's all ready to go. And then once that's done, we're going to lay down some epoxy on here. We're going to spread it out and let it soak into this wood. And then once I feel like it's soaked in enough, we'll go ahead and lay the chop strand down, and then we'll set that bulkhead up on here, squeeze it all together. I've got some screws, some drill bits. The only problem with using screws to try to squeeze it is a lot of the times that chop strand, those little fibers get wrapped around the screw and then put a big old bulge in between the layers. So I gotta be really careful about when I do that. So I have, I think 18 or 20 screws. Actually, I think it's 16, so 8 for each side. So that's how we're gonna do that. I'm also gonna take some 610 epoxy, use a caulk gun, go around these edges up here, just so that whatever air gaps may be up there will be partially filled, and then I'll come back later, again, after everything's cured, do another line, make sure everything's good, and then after that, we're gonna do what they didn't do, and it's gonna be tabbed to the side here and all the way down and around. Now, originally, the bulkhead came down here and then came over here, and I just don't like that this is all that there was for, I guess, structural part anyways, because this is one of the most important bulkheads in a boat. From what I've gathered, it's pretty much the one that judges how much twist and flex the boat has. This one breaks, everything in the boat's just gonna be flexed and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So I didn't like that was the only thing that was holding the two pieces together. So what I've done is it now comes all the way down here. So, and there will be a gap at the very bottom. I have the other piece in the garage for the bottom. It's not but about that big. I'm not even concerned about it right now. My main concern is getting this big one put in place. And then after that, which will probably be in the upcoming videos, we'll do the bulkhead on the port side, bulkhead on the starboard side, get that done, and once that's finished, we can pretty much start building the dining room and the kitchen. So yeah, I'm gonna angle the camera down so y'all can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm glad I put this post in, but it's gonna be in the way big time, but we'll figure that out. So yeah. Oh my god. All right, well, that was fun. That was like a hour and 20, maybe 30 straight minutes of just hauling ass. That's very difficult to do by yourself. Very difficult, especially when you gotta wipe everything down with acetone. You gotta apply the epoxy, put down all the fiberglass and everything. And when you're sitting there trying to wet out that mat, man, it soaks it right up. I think I probably went through a good half a gallon epoxy right there. That was intense. Now I'm going to take some wood, which I've brought up here, and kind of sandwich all of this stuff together. That way, we don't have any issues with the wall coming apart from the bulkhead. We got that 610 up there, nowhere near enough. I should have got more, but it'll do for right now. I still have access to these gaps and stuff, so I'm honestly not too concerned about it. So yeah, that's gonna be our next thing, is sandwiching in some wood. Hopefully I can do it in such a way that won't block the companionway pretty much. So I guess I'll attempt to find a place for the camera out there. All right, that is a bulkhead installed. I'm not too concerned about these screws sticking out, because once I pull them out, it's pretty much just gonna get filled, and then this is all gonna be fiberglassed. I'm gonna go try to find some more screws and pretty much just repeat the process that y'all just saw, and try to suck this up some more. Just try to get as much of those air gaps out as possible, and that'll be it. So yeah, considering this has been an hour and 35 minutes, I'm gonna see how long this video is edited, and if it's long enough, I'll go ahead and release it. If it's not, then I'll probably go ahead and start working on the blisters. So yeah, that's one big step in the right direction. Next is those two bulkheads. Hooray. All right, I have not yet done the video editing, but we're just gonna go ahead and do this and maybe add it on, I don't know yet. But first thing we're gonna do is take some acetone, wipe all these nice and clean, and then I got some chop strands sitting over here that we're just gonna fill these with, since they're not that deep. Some of these other deeper ones we'll use probably chop strand and cloth, because I can't seem to really get my hands on biaxial and even if I could, it's pretty freaking expensive. So yeah, we're just going the El Cheapo way, which is perfectly fine because I've used that on my Cal 34 and for 6 years it's held up. So doing 5 pumps of resin and 5 pumps of slow hardener, just because even with the slow hardener, it's pretty difficult to manage before it cures. If you're gonna do this and it's like 85, 90, I'd probably go with the extra slow hardener, because even the slow hardener kicks off pretty quickly. Probably gonna skip this one here because it needs to be smoothed out a little bit more. That's gonna leave air bubbles if I try to fill that. And I know before in my previous videos I used a die grinder for getting these blisters opened up and stuff, but I found that a regular grinder with like the sanding flappy disc on it, that works out a lot better. It gives you a nice smooth surface. So don't use a die grinder. Unfortunate. Maybe wear a Tyvek suit when doing this, especially if you're working up and above. Yeah, I can already feel the cup getting warm, which is crazy. Jesus. This is at least it's not one of my good shirts. I don't really care too much about this shirt. Ah, Jesus. A lot of people say that you should start out smaller and go bigger, but like with your circles, me personally, I don't think it really matters. I think it's more of just personal preference. I go big and go smaller. I know the reason behind it. It's because if that one big layer fails, then the whole thing just pops off, which I kind of get, but at the same time, if your layer fails, I mean, it wouldn't matter if it's if you're laying it all up in one go, then, I mean, if you have a layer that fails, then, I mean, eventually the whole thing's going to fail anyway. So, I mean, it's just a matter of do it right, make sure your prep works good. another thing I do is I make, whenever I've got the fiberglass up there, I usually make it really proud of the surface, just so that, you know, when I sand over it, then it gets nice and smooth and I don't really have to use any filler. I don't like using filler on blisters anyways. A lot of people, they'll just, you know, grab some adhesive filler or something like that, like 610 or even like the total base stuff, and they'll just fill over the blister after they grind them out. And I don't think that's right. I think there should be fiberglass put back in its place. Yeah, I don't know if y'all can see this, but that's like, and let's see how many minutes it's been. It's been 22 minutes, and I probably started doing this about 4 or 5 minutes afterwards, so only 15 minutes that this pot lasted. That's crazy. That's not good. So I guess 5 pumps is too much, so I guess we'll do 3 pumps of each, because these are probably gonna, well, it'll be fine to glass over these, because as long as it's still tacky, you don't have to sand it back down. But that's nuts, but good to know. Another thing to note is when you're stirring this stuff, when you get all those little like bubbles in there, when it starts turning like white, make sure you let your epoxy sit for like, you know, like a minute or two. Let some of those air bubbles rise to the surface, because all those air bubbles are going to get transferred into your layup, and you don't want air bubbles, especially if you're using a stirrer, you know, like on the end of a drill. I'm looking at a very specific somebody right now, because I watched one of their videos, and I just saw the epoxy turning white, and I was just like, oh no. But yeah, so if your epoxy is turning white, that's not good. That means you've got little air bubbles like all throughout it, and that's going to get transferred to your layup. So you just, when you mix it, just let it sit for like a minute or two. Let the air bubbles rise to the surface, and then gently stir the top part, and it'll pop most of the bubbles, and then you'll be fine. But yeah, definitely don't use electric doohickeys for stirring your epoxy, especially on high speed. Low speed, that's fine. If you're only doing like, you know, I don't know, 70, 80 rotations per minute, I guess, I think 100 would probably be the cutoff there. But yeah, that's fine. But if you're sitting there at like 1500, 2000 RPMs with some sort of stir, no, not a good idea. Also, not a good idea to bump your head up against epoxy. But I'm gonna try to get this on camera the best I can, but you can see all of those air bubbles sitting in there. So I'm gonna let this epoxy sit for a minute, and let those air bubbles rise up to the surface, so that I can try to get them popped before they go on the layup. That's a little bit more acceptable. gonna try something that might bite me in the butt, but might make this go a little bit quicker. Not that I mind it taking a while. I mean, just kind of gotta be used to taking your time on this stuff, but so what I did was I folded them up and I cut them all in the same diameter. Now I can come back through and cut one smaller. Well, actually, I guess I can lay up two like this and cut this one a smaller diameter, and then take the other one, trim it down some. And I'll tell you what, just to make some of y'all happy, I'll make this one the small one, okay? We'll kind of build it up the right way, so we'll have one blister down the right way. Well, right way, I should say. You know what? I can admit when I'm wrong, but I like the way that laid up. That laid up a lot better. Like these are super proud of the surface, and those not so much. Which I mean makes sense because I mean it's a concave shape, but okay, whatever, fine. I'll do it y'all's way. I don't mind. I like learning, you know, better processes anyways. Yeah, it definitely laid up a heck of a lot better. I like it. I'll show y'all whenever this one decides he wants to kick off in like 5 minutes. I don't really have too many more to, well, nah, I say we don't have too many more to do. I mean the ones that I've already coated, because there's probably 500, 600 blisters on this thing. It's crazy. Let's see, how big is that one? That one's pretty small. I am going to do it the same way though, where I cut it, because that made it much faster. Close enough. I wonder how many of these fiberglass strands I'm breathing in. That's got to be great for the lungs. Probably worse than cigarettes. So yeah, cigarettes ain't lowering my lifespan. It's just fiberglass and boat work. That one don't even need 3 layers, but it's gonna get it. I'll do the big one. Yeah. Big old one. Cut, scissors, cut. Thank you. I bet if Edward Scissorhands was doing this job, he'd probably get it done a heck of a lot quicker. Luckily, it's kind of the older generation that kind of, you know, watches this stuff, because I don't think the younger generation would even know what I was just talking about. Bring out the big scissors for this one. It's gonna be a lot of scrap. I'm gonna do that over the table so I don't lose all this. Maybe I don't need to go that big. There's a little bit better. It's still pretty big though. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. There's a couple little divots in there that I don't very much like. So I'm gonna take some fibers here. Kinda uh-oh, our pot's getting warm again. God, it's getting really warm. Why? Jesus. Is that small? Yeah, it's small. Come on, let me do this last one before you decide to get all stiff on me. Oh my God, it's getting Come on. By the way, if your pot ever starts warming up and like it's getting really thick really fast, don't do what I'm doing. Just, you know, put it down, don't use it, because then it won't allow the resin to soak into the fibers. I'm kind of just going on a prayer here, hoping that it will soak in. But yeah, just get another, you know, pot and do it again, because otherwise you'll run into the risk where you won't have a good layup because all your fibers are dry. I think in this one you'll be able to notice the color difference too when it's too dry, because the resin didn't soak into the fibers. So when we get that, I'll show it to you. That way you know I'm not just bullshitting you. Oh yeah, that's about done. What I like to do with this though, when it gets like this, because this was, you know, ground out with a planer, there's like grooves all in the hole, so I kind of take whatever access I may have and just kind of put it on the hole. Yeah, just gonna try to help fill some of those grooves so that whenever I come back with fairing compound and all that fun stuff, it's not so much fairing compound being used. Man, that stuff's thick. springy. I think I'm gonna stop there because now I'm just gonna have this really thick honey mess that I don't want to deal with, even when it's sanding. Oh yeah, it's just, oh, you're way over here. Like, I'd say it's pretty done. So I'm gonna leave the brush in there. I don't have another mixing cup right now because you used it all in the boat and everything. But these ones where I already applied the epoxy, I'm gonna have to sand back over that a little bit, kind of rough it up before I lay glass back on it. That's gonna pretty much be it for this video because there's so many of these that, I mean, we would be here for hours doing this. I mean, in real time, this is probably gonna take me 3 months to do. So every day before work or, you know, after work, I'll come out here, knock out 10, 15 blisters at a time, and eventually we'll be done. But I won't video all of that. I'll do a video whenever I break the grinder out again and start, you know, grinding down some blisters. There's a few that I haven't even opened up yet, so I'll video that. That way y'all get the full, you know, how to do a blister thing. But yeah, for right now, that'll be it. I'm gonna let this cure up, and once this is all cured, I'm gonna come back and sand down, you know, where it's proud of the surface, and I'll go ahead and kind of show you. So that's pretty proud of the surface there. And then the one where we kind of did smaller to bigger, it's like almost perfect. So yeah, when you're doing this, just go small to big, and you won't have so much sanding to do. I'll show you some of the ones I've already done, and actually I can show you the color difference too, maybe. So you see how this kind of has like white in it? That's because the resin hasn't soaked into it. This right here, I mean, you can kind of see it a little bit around the edges, but that's where, you know, it was dug out and everything. So yeah, that's kind of the color difference there. But yeah, anyways, this is what I've already done. A little messy because the fibers were like crazy stiff. I think it was just because they were old maybe, but I mean, it'll get the same thing done. It's just gonna be more sanding, and that hurt. So maybe don't rub your hand against fiberglass, because now I've got a piece stuck in my finger. But yeah, I'll come back, sand these down, and these were some of the better ones that I did. So yep, they are everywhere. I mean, everywhere. So this is gonna take a super duper long time to do, but we'll get her done eventually. So on that note, if you like the video and the bulkhead and all that, you know, just do the great thing of liking and subscribing so that this channel can grow. This is kind of my process of making sure everything was pulled together, and it worked. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have very many air bubbles back there behind that panel. And I can show you the cabin roof too, so you can see that it's not sloped anymore, not as bad as it was. So yep, I'm gonna be so happy to have a floor down here so that I can have a, you know, steps here. But we'll come back and we'll fill all those screw holes and stuff that's gonna be in there, and epoxy everything on this side here. Probably fiberglass the whole bulkhead, because why not? But yeah, if you like the video, like, subscribe. There's a little bell doohickey. I don't know exactly where it's at, but that kind of notifies you if like I release a video, so that's really helpful. I also need to cover up my poor engine, because yeah, I don't want all that going down there, even though I'm kind of debating on turning my fuel tank area into a battery storage with EVE batteries, not EV, but EVE batteries. I've been doing a lot of research on that, and I don't know, I'm kind of debating on doing 2 electric like sail drive motors like Sailing Uma did, and do one over here and one over there. But I don't know yet. That's just kind of up in the air. I gotta look at the cost of those, and I mean, the cost doesn't really concern me too much, because I mean, this is going to take 2 years to do anyways, and I mean, it's not taking a lot of money to actually build the boat right now. Like, I mean, the biggest cost is the plywood. So but anyways, thanks for watching. Yet another beautiful day. I'm gonna attempt to enjoy. Eventually we'll get to the roof, and yeah, I hope y'all have a good day or night, whatever time it is you're watching this. And yep,